Hello and welcome to another episode of Dragon Tavern. In fact, a rather special episode, as someone on the channel...
Yeah, like a month ago, donated some money for us to actually review a specific thing.
Yeah.
Which we threw out there a couple of times, and we didn't think anyone would gravitate to it, but thanks to Dion Cook...
We had to watch Dorkness Rising, the Gamers. The lowest budget film I think I've ever seen, and I've appeared in quite a few low budget.
I've seen a lot of low budget. This is pretty good for what it was.
I mean, I appeared in a web series that a drug-addled maniac in a basement put together. Managed to cobble together a couple of hundred to pay some random people to hold cameras and mics and stuff. But Dorkness Rising, I think, is even below the production level of that one.
I think you just described porn.
Well, no,
that
Dave,
wasn't porn.
No, my character had to have sex with 40 people. It was integral to the story.
Was there even a camera?
We didn't need one. It was an immersive experience, okay?
Anyway, so thanks to Dion Cook. I'll read out what he said, because he put a little bit of a message with it. He goes, "Hey guys, can you please review a YouTube movie called The Gamers Dorkness Rising? I enjoyed it, and it's a bit old, but it was fun, and you might enjoy it. I've only got a couple of bucks to give this week. Have a cup of tea on me, team. We drink coffee."
Yeah.
But I mean,
appreciate the sentiment.
Yes. So it's a YouTube movie. It's very YouTube-esque, but it's actually pretty well done. It's got a good story.
I'm pretty sure they only had one camera, because I never saw two different shots of a single scene.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and throughout the entire thing, I'm pretty sure they used one camera.
They work. We've literally only got one camera.
Yeah, that's true.
Can you imagine two angles of us doing a review? We'll be like over there, spot it.
That would be
Maybe
good.
one day.
Catch my good side. I don't know.
Okay.
I could feel it. I could feel the sarcasm radiating.
I tried. I held back too. So if you do want to watch the movie, we highly encourage it. It is free, obviously. Yeah. It's on YouTube. The link will be down below. And basically, the kind of the concept of the movie is a D&D game.
Full of murder hobos, basically.
Yeah, basically, it's like the most frustrating D&D game you play,
Yeah.
and DMs will relate to it quite heavily.
It had me in the first 5 minutes. I was like, I know this pain well.
And it kind of alternates live action between in the game and on the table.
Yeah.
And it throws in a lot of those tropes that DMs and players really can relate to.
Yeah.
So if you've played D&D before, even if you haven't, if you just want to know some of the frustrations that people experience when they're in a campaign that's gone... I won't say it's campaign's gone for a while. It's a module that he's trying to play through, but it always goes wrong.
So essentially the problem is that the guys just want to get straight to the big boss and kill him, and they want to avoid all these specially created social encounters throughout the game.
Yeah.
So for like the 50th time, they've TPK'd in this campaign that this guy's running, and they decide to reset it, and they're trying the same tactic, and definition of insanity, trying the same thing over and over again, expecting different results, until they rope in a woman to play who has a better take and an interesting view on the game.
I think she it's not really because she's a woman aspect. It's kind of like she's a player who's actually taking the time to learn the game before actually playing.
You're basically watching why parties need people that enjoy combat and people that enjoy the roleplay and the story.
So we should give a shout out to Dead Gentleman Productions, the ones that actually produced the movie, and it was directed by Matt Valick.
A couple of days after we watched this movie together in our pajamas eating popcorn at 9 in the evening.
Was not together. Was far from it.
In our feety pajamas.
I was literally not in the same room.
A couple of days later, I was at work, and I work in a place full of D&D nerds because we sell D&D stuff, and my workmate goes, "Oh, Dorkness Rising, you do know there's a sequel and a prequel to that."
Yeah,
and
so
I went,
we found out because we didn't know anything about this movie.
I'd heard of it before.
I had not heard of it before, and it turns out this is like the second one in like
3.
And 3, and there's a one before and one after, and they even make they're trying to start a TV series, or not TV series, a web series, an ongoing continuation of the story as well. Which is very interesting, having this like little community I've never heard anything about, and then discovering it for the first time many years after the fact of when the movie first came out.
It's very much a whole bunch of people had an idea, and they thought, well, if we secure a camera and some actors, we can probably make the props, and how hard can special effects be? Well,
I mean, we've thought of, like, there's a little tidbit, we thought of a little skit thing that one day we'll come out with.
Should we name it? Should we give like a secret name?
I think we won't name it because we may not actually eventually get around to doing it. I don't know.
we had an idea that was basically our Dorkness Rising. Like David Ollie's Dorkness Rising project. That might hit the channel sometime.
Yeah, once we get around to it. We've got a very talented person who's helping out us with it. We just have to hit him up. Yeah,
so essentially, let's get into the actual movie.
Yes.
Now that we've had enough forepony.
So it starts off with them having basically another TKP. TPK.
Total Party Cook.
I know, I just said the wrong name.
TKP.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah.
Of this module that this DM has written himself, but he can never end it because the party is just not being able to progress.
They just murder hobos, and they're like, "Don't worry, this time we'll get him. I'll get an even more powerful sword or whatever." And the DM's like, "Oh my god!" And he's like, "No, we're not starting a different module until we finish this one."
Yes, and one of the players are very dedicated to winning as well, so he's dedicated to actually win.
I'd also like to point out, because I sell board games for a living, at the very start of this, they're playing Munchkin. And they get the rules completely wrong.
It's like in the middle. It's like in the middle though, isn't it? It's not. I don't think it's right at the start.
No, it is. It's right at the start.
Oh, they play Munchkin again.
One of the first things, yeah.
Yeah, they play Munchkin. Munchkin's we should do Munchkin.
It's a great game.
That's a really good game.
But you don't look for trouble or loot the room. You loot. No.
Here's a quote that the DM says, because the DM kind of his name was Kevin Lodge. But even called Lodge or something.
Yeah.
He says that thing, story trumps rules.
Yeah.
Do you agree with that? Because I know Matt Mercer probably would agree with that.
Yeah.
But what would you say?
I would. Okay. So there's a huge grey area because you have to have the classes balanced. So the things they do outlined in the core books are very well thought out to try and keep them level.
Yeah.
So if you allow someone to be like, for example, I played in a game where someone was like, I wanted my Thunderwave to be able to push people away, as stated in the core books, or pull them closer if they fail a save. And the DM went with it and let them do it. And I was like, well, that's story over rules, because they had a reason for it.
And the DM kind of I think one of the tropes, when we're talking about tropes of things that happen in games, one of the things that happens during the movie, he introduces his own character to play in the game to try and direct them into the right place. I disagree with that happening. I don't think having another player, I mean NPCs, makes sense, but another actual PC character who's played by the BM.
Combats and doing large parts of the story. This is very much him at the end of his tether going, holy crap, they don't finish this campaign.
It's definitely a comedy, because there's a lot of comedy tropes in it. Yeah. So I understand some leniency has to go. But
you can also tell these guys, like right from the get-go, are really into D&D and the stories and the roleplay, and they're actual D&D players.
Yeah. So after they have a bit of a depressing session, they realise one of the players kind of talked to the DM and say, hey, we need more players. Yeah. We need a more balanced team in order for us to finish this module.
Yeah, they need a healer, basically. They're all tanks at the moment.
And so that's when Joanna is introduced, who is the ex-girlfriend from, I think his name was Chaz or something like that.
Yeah, and essentially she goes, well, this is the character that I've created as per the rules. And they're like, oh, come on, you have no con bonus, and where's your AC, and your low hit points and stuff, and why did you put all these stats into, like, persuasion and all that kind of stuff.
And all kind of like diplomatic kind of stats. But then we find out that she's really studied the rules, so when she kills, she gets another attack.
Yeah.
And
so
she just pretty much goes on a murder spree.
Yeah. So she's a high charisma fighter, and they're like, well no, if you're a fighter, you need strength. Like, you've just ruined your whole class. And she's like, no, look at the feats that I took. This is like,
And it goes into one of those tropes of someone being introduced to the game, and then another player saying, hey, you're doing everything wrong.
Yeah.
Which is a kind of really bad, like, if someone wants to play D&D, let them play it the way they want, because that's the whole point of D&D, is to be able to kind of build a fantasy character the way you want to do it, and fail to succeed the way you need to.
Yeah, you want to be creating an improvised story medium where everyone shares some of the responsibility in the storytelling. That's the key elements to it, and the rules are there to surface as a framework, I guess.
The framework.
I'd also like to point out that it seems to me that they were playing 3rd edition Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah, that's what they said when I did a little bit of research. So it was 3rd edition, and you get that from I think one of the biggest rules is about every time you resurrect, you lose a level or something like that.
Yeah, well, that actually can be a homebrew rule that people still use in stuff like 5th Ed.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, it's one of the 3rd edition kind of things.
So basically, they kind of start the module again, and there's they kind of journey along, and some of the characters, because one of them's a female.
Yeah.
The
player is a male. Playing a female character.
Yeah. And it's quite funny that during the live action D&D scenes, sometimes he's actually a female, an actual actor playing a female, and sometimes he's actually the guy play
drag.
and drag,
Yeah.
basically.
Which I didn't actually click to the first couple of times. Like, I was a bit tired when I watched this.
I thought it was.
I was like, what?
I thought it was a budget reason. It was the
Yeah.
reason why they did it. But then I realised
They could
that
only hire
he's
her,
modelling his character after his teacher, who he has a crush on.
Yeah.
Which you find out later when he's teaching. He's got a little bit. He's a bit of a horn dog with it. And the players start trying to sleep with each other a lot.
A
sleep
lot,
with
and then it gets
anybody.
weird.
Yeah,
It starts
it's
getting
really
weird.
Yeah.
Also, the DM's like, you can't play a monk. I've told you many times there are no monks in my world. And he's like, no, I'm going to play a monk. And it's like,
But that does come to the restrictions of what a DM shouldn't do, though. You should.
I don't know, because sometimes it is integral to the story. Like in my world, Dragonborn, you couldn't be a playable character because in the Age of Dragons, they were all driven out of the main continent.
But can't you tie that in? Because, I mean, if you have a player who really wanted to play this particular character or class, shouldn't you accommodate or help accommodate there? Because that way the players are influencing your world, and vice versa.
It was also because the discovering of the storyline of the Dragonborn was integral to the arc that I was running. So if I had a Dragonborn character and someone asked about Dragonborn, I wouldn't have the reveal later on in the campaign where it needed to be. Later on, though, after that arc had finished, I allowed people to become Dragonborn.
Yeah. I don't know.
Again, it's a grey area, but it's one of the things that DMs
It's one of the conflicts you have between a DM and a player, because with D&D, a lot of people think either the DM is the most important aspect or the player is the most important aspect. I think they're equal, and that they definitely have to bounce off each other. And then that when railroading starts to come in, that's when the DM starts to get too controlling, and that's what it felt like during this movie as well. Is that kind of trope was taken into the fact that DM was trying to. I understand his frustration of the fact that he wants to complete the module, but he's adding too much in that it takes a little bit control away from the players. But then they get a lightsaber and it's all okay.
So I think we do get the merged frustrations of the player and the DM in a very relatable way throughout this movie. But see, I mean, I played in a game. I love characters to be able to influence, players to be able to influence my world. That's why I meet them for coffee and talk. I actually played in a game. I play in a game on the regular that. We're allowed to create whole cities and stories and stuff as part of our backstory for the world.
I like that.
That gives quite a lot of collaboration in the world, which is cool.
Because I always think D&D is all about collaboration, and the DM needs to take what he's given from the players and what his want and merge them together into a nice little story.
Absolutely.
And I think you see that from Matt Mercer a lot. And I think a lot of his world. I know we always throw out Matt Mercer's own because we consume the most of Critical Role content. He does a really good balance of like finding out what the players want and then molding the world around that. It's great.
So essentially, we jump back from real life to the in-game, and we meet the big bad quite early on. Morkemnon.
Yes,
great name. I really like that.
So he's got the Mask of Death.
And
basically wants to control the world and doom the world with the Mask of Death. Which is a very
small detail in this scene as well. They're drinking a drink called Mountain Doom. And throughout the entire movie, there's actually little jokes like that. Every time they're eating like a Twizzler or something, it's some kind of like D&D fantasy-esque spin on a popular brand. Which I think falls fine under the laws of copyright as parody. But
there's a lot of love. You can see a lot of D&D love in this movie, and a lot of things that people that aren't too associated with D&D wouldn't understand. But there's a lot that people would.
There's just like really cool nods throughout the entire thing. We also, Joanna's in-game, the new player, Joanna, is talking to some of the NPCs, trying to gather information. And the DM, you can see, is lit up and excited about this. He's like, finally, I can actually use some of the fucking story.
Because her kind of thing is role-playing. It's like the other players don't really role-play. They're just in
want
there
to get to the
destroy
combat.
Things.
They want to get to Morkemnon and fight it. That's what they think the whole thing is about. And she's like, I'm just playing my alignment when they're talking to her. And I was like,
you get that quote you normally get in a D&D game. It's like, I'm just playing what my character would play. And I hate that. It's like, it justifies all bad actions. Whenever someone does something bad, they always say, well, my character would do that.
I've heard you use that line a few times.
Yeah, but I don't, my character never really did anything bad, though.
No, I thought heavy sarcasm, but...
heavy sarcasm, but that's all. You should hear about my elevator.
Oh my god, can we leave that dead and buried where it belongs?
Don't use a black light.
No, oh my god. So anyway, magic staff as well. So
they also get a resurrection staff.
Yeah.
Which is very
clearly
useful.
like the DM's just like
it's just like I really want to finish this finally.
Yeah.
And also when they do well, they get waffles.
Yeah.
I always why don't you never give us waffles? Oh, is it because we never did well? Oh,
I had a whole stack of waffles.
Oh, really?
Every game,
and you never gave them to us. Oh, that sucks. So they're going after the big bad, and it's very interesting how they integrate how D&D is played with the live action in D&D, like initiative. When they're doing a fight, they're actually pausing and letting kind of the combat happen in the live action kind of scene, like when they're fighting all the goblins and she's like killing one after another, everyone stops, and then like the mage dude or girl says cast lightning bolt, you wait 2 rounds. God damn it.
And also we find out in the goblin battle that she's taken a feat that helps her initiative, and the players are like, initiative does not matter, why do you need the feat?
Yeah, it's like a +4 to initiative.
Yeah, and they're like, oh my god, you completely wasted a feat. There's so many other things you could have chosen. But then that's when her game-breaking like theory came in, and she's like, no, because of this feat and this feat, I actually get extra attacks.
Yeah, so stab kill, every kill that she gets, she gets another attack.
So she just like just bursts through this land of goblins and just like kill, like completely kicks ass.
So I reckon the main character of this entire story is the DM, of seeing the DM's struggles. You see him kind of go home, and the fact that he's got the story that's in his head as a struggling kind of writer, but he's never been able to kind of progress more than that because
I don't know. I think they're all close to being protagonists. Like he's the main focus, and
he is the main focus.
He's like the spine of the story.
Yeah.
But I honestly think that the other ones you could count almost as important.
I'm not saying there's less important. It just kind of revolves around the DM. Because he's got that love thing with Joanna as well,
which I didn't know if I enjoyed as much. I feel like that kind of was put in because they're like we should probably have a romantic interest.
It kind of felt hinted towards. I don't know. It wasn't well executed, that bit of it. But it was still kind of important to the story because you kind of see them teaming up as well during the because once he introduces his character into the game, this paladin.
I really like charisma, like lol.
He's got a lot of because he's bald, in real life. So his
character's beautiful locks.
Yes, it's a nice kind of little kind of that. Those two characters were the reason why the story kind of progressed, and the other characters kind of learned from that of the way they were role-playing and the way they were taking the game.
There's a couple of scenes where the DM is like alone at his computer writing, and he's like typing. I'm sure we've all done this back in like the MSN Messenger days when we were in high school.
That computer was huge though.
Yeah, it was massive.
It was massive. It's like
it's as big as our couch.
Yeah. I wouldn't say it's that big, but it's like one of those big old school kind of
CRT monitor giant.
I mean, we say that like
probably
it was ages ago. It was literally like, for us, we were about 7, 8.
But he's like at his computer and he's writing like the next like story. But he's writing about the female love interest, and it's just like I was like, my god, that is such an emo moment. Like I could just imagine Linkin Park playing in the background while he's like, no one understands my pain.
I mean, we can't really. I don't really want to break down exactly what happens
because we want you to watch it. Yeah, it's that good.
Because we should support artists that are doing this kind of thing, especially putting movies like that. The way kind of whenever Dungeons and Dragons is kind of put into a big cinematic. World like we've done, it doesn't really feel like D&D. Yeah. This one actually felt like what D&D is.
Oh yeah, really. And also, people forget how much work goes into making a full-length film. Even with one camera, even with like a cast of 5 people, they had special effects that were terrible, but they had special effects. They had, I
think they did well for what they would have had.
Oh my god!
I think I looked at the budget. Their first one that they did was only like $1,000 that they did it with. So this one would have been a little bit more.
Yeah.
But I think they did a good job, a good story. I mean, the acting is B grade acting. It's not stellar, but it's still good. And it's an hour and 40 minutes long movie, so
but that's a lot of work. Like I've been in shows and TV and stuff, and people just forget and they don't understand how much time it takes to do 5 angles, and especially with one camera, that's way harder. And then like close-ups, and then editing, and then checking it, and then being like, oh crap, we screwed up the shot, and going back. I mean, this is like months and months and months,
and they pulled it off.
Years of work,
and they pulled it off. But also there was a random scene between some ninjas and pirates.
Why did the ninjas just suddenly be ninja zombies just appear out of nowhere?
They weren't ninja zombies. They were just like pirates and ninjas, and there was because a purple Critical Ninja apparently is on every single one of them.
All right.
So that's their little thing, and because they were playing a board game before the D&D game.
Yeah.
And it was called like it was like this ninja stealing pizzas from pirates. Just
right.
watch it for
That's
that
right.
scene alone. It's great.
Yeah. Yeah. I made a note about the special effects. I wrote SFX are next level. They're clearly like some dude at his computer with a pizza and some Doritos. And he's like, about 20 minutes.
I can't diss it because there's no way we can ever do better.
Oh, no. And I'm a firm believer in you should only diss something if you can do it better. And
Exactly.
I can't do better.
Exactly. That's
But
why I make fun of you all the
still,
time.
it was the wonderful... It was wonderfully cheap CGI.
Yeah. So one of the cool little only would happen in D&D moments is they find this chest. And it's got a whole range of weapons in it, including a shotgun, a lightsaber, but for copyright purposes, it calls like a
light rapier or something?
Something like that, yeah.
They're also drinking Dr. Lepper.
Yeah. So they find out that this bad guy who's got this mask of death, turns out he's not actually the in-game bad guy. He's kind of like the in-between who's going to someone that is higher up, and it turns out to be this priestess. They call it Hierophant? A Hierophant was...
Sure.
That word.
Oh, yeah. Hierophant.
Hierophant. So it's kind of like a religious leader. And it turns out he was the bad guy and this entire thing kind of orchestrating everything, which is the big twist that the DM had never really gotten to that point.
Yeah.
And they make a point of they're sitting around a campfire and for some reason they raise the dead. One of the characters raises the dead of a chicken.
Oh,
that
yeah.
Don't understand
For the hell of it.
For the hell of it. And only in D&D. And they've reached that point, they're sitting around the fire saying, oh, we've won all that stuff. And then Joanna goes, well, why are we still playing?
Yeah.
So it means there was something more, and we find out the other big bad, which they end up beating. And they win the day.
Another note that I put at that point was I should write a Dorkness Rising one-shot where they're playing both the characters in the real world and
God,
the characters in the
I don't
game.
know how that's going to work. So when does it cut, though?
So essentially, like
you play in.
So it's a D&D game where all the characters are playing the real life versions, and then those people that they're playing sit down to play D&D.
Or how about a one shot of Critical Role? So you get players who are playing the actors
and stuff.
playing the characters.
No, what if we did a Critical Role Grog's one shot? So when Grog did the one shot, where Grog was running a one shot for the characters of Vox Machina, but you play Travis as the main character who's playing Grog, who's playing Vox Machina.
Okay, how would you do the work for that? I'll just play along with it.
Okay, cool. But that's an idea that I had while watching this. I was like, I should write a Dorkness Rising one shot.
But yeah, it's a really good movie. There's hints to the previous movie apparently. And references and for the next one, and it was a really good kind of wholesome. I really enjoyed it in the end. It took me a while to get into it, admittedly. Once you kind of get past,
I would like to point out it's a 7.5 out of 10 on Internet Movie Database and an 80% rating on Rotten Tomatoes.
I can see that.
I mean, it's cheap, it's low budget, but it's good.
About 80%. Keep in mind, Rotten Tomatoes doesn't. People say 80%. It's like, it's pretty much just saying 80% of everyone that's watched it liked it.
Yeah.
So they could have all said it's like a 51% kind of movie, but that's deemed as a like.
But still 7.5 on Internet Movie Data.
Yeah, it's still, it's a good movie. It's not terrible.
And it's rewarding. And if you're a D&D fan, I honestly feel it's probably 100 times better if you're a D&D player.
It's 100 times better of that live action movie they actually did of Dungeons and Dragons. I would say that. Would you say that?
All I can
you actually like that movie though, so it's a little bit different.
I love bad movies.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know. I just can't.
But hey,
this was good.
That was fun. And hey, if you but you donate to us and say you should watch this movie and review it, we're gonna do it.
Apparently, we do that now on this channel. But yeah, well, thanks, Dion Cook. I'm sorry it took a little bit long to get this review together. But thanks heaps. And if you out there do you want to kind of help this channel grow, or want to actually see us review something specific, either leave a comment down below, check us a buck. Even more, the links are down below, or it's on our channel. If you put that forward, we will definitely review it if you do donate. And regardless, because if you comment down below, we have veto power. But if you actually donate,
we pretty much
should do it because that's how we do things.
Also, if you're from America, you got to remember your US dollars. Like New Zealand's main currency is chicken feathers. So like $1 is worth like 4,000 chicken feathers here in New Zealand. No. So it's actually a lot. Like we could feed our family, for about a year.
Your family.
On
or
our
one of them.
Family,
or one of them.
on a US dollar. So that we'd really appreciate.
Yeah, but if you also want to contribute to our Patreon, we've got that there too. So thanks Dion, thanks everyone for watching this, and hopefully check out Dorkness Rising, give us some support, and check out the other stuff if you do enjoy that, because they've got a big passion of D&D.
Yeah, and I mean, I thought it was the greatest cinematic masterpiece since Kubrick and Michel Gondry. So
no idea what you just said.
So for myself, I love Dungeon Master, and
Dave,
we wish you a good morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are in the world. You don't know Michel Gondry, French director?
No.
Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind?
No. Do you know who the creator of the Ninja Turtles were?
Yes.
Who?
Well, as long as you don't ask me that second question.
See, don't judge me.